It started. Um,
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now tuned in to our latest installment of What Would It Take? The wait is over. Time starts now. Here's your host, Summer Logan.
I'm sorry. Good morning. This song gives me life. I just wanted to hear it.
Hey, works for me too.
It gives me so much life. I love this song. Or I think it's an intro.
Yeah,
I just let a little bit of it play.
just love. Okay, that's what's up.
Oh my gosh. Good morning, everybody. And actually, good afternoon to
Good
those who are
afternoon. Yeah.
tuning in live right now. But good morning to those that this hits in the morning on Mondays at 6 a.m. So they're driving in on this. So good. That's why I have to say.
Or waking up to
Or
it.
waking up to it. Yeah.
Right.
So it's good morning for those who are driving in or waking up. And it's also good afternoon to those of you who are tuning in to our right now to the live. If you are tuning in to our live, feel free to hop in on the conversation, post, comment, and we'll discuss while you're on the comments.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely.
welcome to What Would It Take podcast. I am your host, Summer Logan, and my husband,
yeah.
Joe Logan.
Hi.
We are your hosts for today for the podcast. I just want to welcome everybody who has been with us, who has been a part of What Would It Take. Y'all support is everything. I thank y'all. And for the new people,
Yeah.
what Would It Take is a podcast that started that we have a table talk with the Black community, and we go in conversation to discuss hard topics that we have not discussed openly as a community, as the Black culture, as Black community, whatever you label yourself as, Black, African American, people of color, whatever,
Yeah.
whatever title you go by, we're talking to you, and we want to come in and have this table talk conversation based on our foundational scripture, which is, if my people who are called by my name would turn from their wicked ways, humble themselves and pray, and he would heal our land. Okay, I am paraphrasing. I'm not quoting it verbatim, but I am paraphrasing. And I want to discuss, like, what does it mean to be called by his name, what certain topics of discussion, what that means to us, what that means to you, how do we go about that. And then the goal of this podcast is to eventually have a 1 day worldwide day of prayer, and we come together and we talk to God and we repent. That's the goal. But we got to have conversations before that. We got to know what it means to be called by his name. We got to know what it means to, what are you referring to when you're saying repent, turn away, discussions. But before we get all the way there to the end, we got to deal with our now, in the middle, and in the in between. So that's what the conversations are about. We're about hard-hitting conversation, and sometimes the simple things that discuss who we are, what it means to be called by his name, and how to respond. I do not always have all the answers, but I am willing for the conversation. And you may have the answer in your comments and in conversation, and we always invite guests, panelists, discussion people who are skilled in the art of the conversation of the topic in which we're speaking on. But today we don't have any guests. It's just you and I. It's just me and you.
You and I.
You and I. And that's what we're going to talk about. Today's topic, episode 4, is family secrets. Family secrets.
That's a good one.
Family secrets. Welcome. Discussion topic, family secrets. Now, first and foremost, we are remote. So we are coming from home. We're coming from home and we are not in the studio. So forgive small.
If you just happen to hear a phone ring or things of that nature, just kind of overlook it. Like she said, we're not at home, and I guess in the midst of sharing just a little bit of news, we are in the midst of transitioning.
Yeah.
And that's where we're going to leave it. There will be more news to come.
Yes.
But just know that for those of y'all that are tuning in and are watching this live, know that. So the scenery, of course, is a little bit different.
Depending on what city we're going to be in when we do a podcast every 2 weeks.
Absolutely, yeah.
It depends on what city we're in. Right now, we are coming live from Indianapolis.
Yes.
Hey, Indianapolis, Indiana.
Uptown.
Woo!
Yeah.
So this is my hometown where I grew up at.
And I've lived here for almost 20 years. And this is where I met my wife. And it's nice to be back in one of my homes.
Yeah. So we're taking What Would It Take on the road right now.
Yep.
So welcome. Episode 4, 4 episodes in, and we're already on the road.
Man,
that's
ain't
dope.
that something?
Okay. Sorry. We had a sidebar. Now back.
Family secrets. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, and thank you for those who are tuning in. Hello.
Yeah,
welcome.
Hello. Welcome.
We are talking about family secrets today. And the one thing that I remember as a family quote or a family creed to go by, what happens in this house stays in this house. I want to talk about that because what happens in this house stays in this house is damaging. Some things, you keep, personal. You ain't got to go out and tell all your business. But the things that y'all are keeping as secrets and y'all taking that creed to the hills is causing some problems. And I want to talk about it today. I want to talk about our stories that happen to our family or what goes in our family lineage. Those trials or waves or embarrassing situations, they're meant to help others overcome. But if we see them as blemishes and we don't utilize our blemishes, then and just keep them as secrets, we would not be helping others. In scripture, I think a scripture that's coming to mind would be that we help each other by the word of our testimony. Okay. So when we have situations that we're going through, our testimonies are important. Our testimony and sharing, sometimes you may be within a testimony and what happens while you're inside that testimony, you're learning, right? But sometimes not keeping it to yourself will help. So, and being able to say, okay, this is what we're going through. how did y'all family, we know that y'all family went through this. How did y'all get over it? How did you get past this moment? And it's not just because everybody doesn't go to church. Everybody doesn't have church family. Some people don't, you can't trust because they're not going to take that information and utilize it and help you. They're going to talk about you or say, this is that and another. But let's think about that for a minute. If they are taking that information and running with it, they're spreading your testimony. Mm-hmm. Now it's up to you to overcome it. So I want to go into a little detail because a lot of times we take what's going to happen in our family, or we take in what's happening in our family, and then we brush it under the rug. And then when we brush it under the rug, I'm sorry, if you put too much stuff under a rug, you're going to get a bump. Somebody's going to trip over it. Somebody is going to notice that it's not laying flat. And that builds bacteria, nastiness in the house. I don't know about you, but I can't stand dust. So if you keep sweeping stuff under a rug, something is going to happen. Allergies are going to happen. The body is going to respond, right? Mm-hmm. Well, your family unit, your family body is eventually going to respond to whatever you keep attempting to hide. So this is what I want to talk about. It does no one any good to do that. And a lot of people get hurt when you sweep it under the rug. So what are family secrets? Let's see. What are some family secrets? Let's do, there are drug addictions. True. Mental health. Mm-hmm. Issues, illness like bipolarism, schizophrenia. I remember watching a documentary with the Queen of England, and the Queen's sister found out that there were some relatives that were in an insane asylum. That in the family book where everybody is written down and who is what and who begat who, they stated that these family members were deceased. And when it came to her researching, they were deceased. They were written off because they weren't what the name was supposed to be representing, or what should represent the name. And that is like a fake and phony moment. We can't do that. Mm-hmm. Because people have been doing that till this day. Right. Because, okay, let's take another royal family, and we'll say, I call them royals because they have been a part of my life forever, ever since I was watching the Cosby Show, right? So just a little bit of tea. Felicia Rashad, Debbie Allen, they're Black royals. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Right. And absolutely. Oh my gosh, people love them. They post, they'd be like, this is Black royalty. Look at them, yada, yada, yada. And they, I mean, their face don't crack. They are beautiful. And still doing it, still making headlines, still going, still speaking out, doing what they do. And I noticed they had a nice little family picture, but one person I noticed was missing. Where's Vanessa? Who's Vanessa, you may say? For those of you who don't know and don't follow their family. Her only name that I know of to go off of, okay, her name is Vanessa Del Rio. Now, this may date me. It's okay, I'm 43. But for those of you who don't know, Vanessa Del Rio she's a porn star. A very decorated. Huh?
The goat.
The goat. It's my husband's. Yes. The goat of porn stars. She paved the way for a lot. The queen, yeah. She paved the way for us to, for the industry, for Black people in the industry. Mm-hmm. Whether you like the industry or not, whether it's, pet peeve, you consider it whatever. But a lot of people clearly considered it tainting the name and tainting who they're called to be, and not celebrating her, but exercising her. Now, I don't know what that has. I don't know what that has or hasn't done to the name of their family, but what if that does something to her personally? She might be a very strong woman. She seems to come from a strong line of women, and she'd be like, you know what? Support me, don't support me. I'm still me. I still made my millions. I still did whatever. You don't want to attach your name to me, fine. At the end of the day, when it's truth of the matter and it all boils down, I'm still your sister. I still come to the family reunions. You just don't take pictures with me. How many black sheep do you have in your family? Because whatever they may or may not be doing isn't cool. So
based off of family, I mean, not to cut you, but
no.
based off of, mostly family traditions and the cultures that they were raised in.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my
Thank you. I like that. Say it again.
I can't.
I forgot. Okay, so
no, I said no. Based off of traditions, calling you a black, considering you the black sheep of the family, based off of the traditions and the cultures that the family was raised in up until that point. It probably wouldn't be looked down on probably as badly nowadays because it's kind of even though some people do look down on it now, but it's not nearly as bad as it was, especially back in the 60s and 70s. I can only imagine because I wasn't born until 74.
Yeah.
But I can only imagine. But I mean, even having said that, me growing up personally, there were some things that were looked down on because just basically based off the traditions and the cultures that we were raised in up until that point. Wasn't exactly, pornography, but, it was just certain things that if we did contrary to, what was scripted for us, whether it be family, church, or whatever, we was looked down on. So, yeah, that was what I was talking about when you was mentioning the black sheep. Yeah.
Yeah. And we also have, gambling addictions, sexual addictions. That's why I brought up, I stabbed in kind of steep on purpose. Reason being is because it is so taboo, certain topics. You don't want that associated with your family. If that's what you're going to do, bye. We can't keep pushing our family members away because really you're only strong as your weakest link. And if you consider that a weaker link, right, then if you're not supporting or providing some type of guidance that way, or even if they don't want guidance, you still have to address it in love. You still have to be loving that individual. The black sheep, and I've been that I've been there for my family. I can only be who I am, and I can only be real, and I'll share my testimony. I'm an open book. The black sheep of the family, it does, you do build this wall because my choices y'all didn't like or y'all didn't agree with or whatever can seem embarrassing or is embarrassing, but how you handle that person in love will keep them close so that the love, they don't seek false love out there. They don't get caught up every which way where people that really don't love them and mistreat them. There's a specific way to address the secrets. Abuse, physical abuse, sexual abuse. Kids trying to figure out, well, why Uncle so-and-so can't come around no more?
Right.
Why we can't talk to him? What happened? Where we, if there's a sexual abuser in the family, 9 times out of 10, he wasn't the first. It's a cycle. It's passing down. And what are we doing as a family unit to address that? Right. Hey, April, I see you. Justin, what's
going on, man?
Welcome, Justin. He'll be on in a couple of weeks. He will be on in a couple of weeks.
Sweet. Okay, good to know.
So we're going to get Justin. Get over to Think Tank. think tank got some stuff for y'all, some food for thought for y'all to discuss, and it gets heated over there because people are really, really enjoying his conversation. Yeah. But I back to the sexual abuse, because that seems to be like huge in the families.
I'm about to say probably the most common thing that's talked about. Well, at least openly.
Yeah.
And also hidden.
Thank you, Nathan, for watching. I saw you. You got to get back to work, but thank you for watching What Would It Take? So yeah, like family abuse is huge. And when we're in family situations like that, who's calling the family meetings? Why don't we have family meetings no more? And I went country. I did. I said no more.
No more.
Family meetings are important, y'all. Addressing the thing before it can take root in your family, before it can take root to the generations. If you're talking about being a generational curse breaker, if you're talking about I'm not walking in the way that everybody else walked in, I'm protecting my kids. I don't want my kids. Exactly. Bad fathers abusing daughters. Man, yeah. That's a secret. How many times that we have heard that a father has fathered a child through his daughter, and that's been swept under the rug? No. Y'all need to address that. Like, address it. I know it's ugly. I know it's hard. I know you don't want to see that in your mirror, but you want more generations that follow to be assigned to that line. Like, you want to be able to address those things, and don't be scared to seek help. If somebody needs to be behind bars, I am so sorry. You're victimizing the victim all over again. I was molested. Family member in my family, very close family member. You know how it was swept under the rug and never addressed, except for like very minimal, so that you didn't have other family members ignited. Maybe some family members need to get ignited so the stuff can stop. Maybe the light needs to be shined on the darkness so the things can stop. We have all these children getting molested and mothers attempting to go to work. They can't even leave their kids nowhere because you have this eerie feeling in the back of your head. I ain't trying to go to jail today. So somebody touching my kids. You can't, and then with it not being addressed, those people are put out into society. And then when they're put into society, they're attacking others because they've never been addressed. And now you got people who are predators. Yeah. And then if you're not addressing anger, then the world gets a huge picture of this child that has all this anger, and they grow up to be serial killers. They grow up to be bullies. They grow up to be whatever because certain things aren't addressed. We done took grandmothers out of the picture. Yeah. Everybody is like, you can't say nothing to my kids. Don't say nothing to my kids. You need help. It takes a village. It takes wisdom from others to sometimes see what you can't see. I don't know why I'm going into this, but somebody, I guess, needs to hear it. No. There are things that need to be addressed in these secrets. What happens in the dark eventually comes to light, no matter what and how you attempt to keep the secrets. Look at the royal family. Look at the royal family right now. Do you think that they wanted their stuff to be aired? Nope. But if they had addressed it, they wouldn't be all over blasted over the world with their problems, because eventually everybody attempted to hide it, and that's true. But there's going to be one out of a family that rises. Somebody's going to rise and say, this ain't right. I want answers. Why am I like this? Why do I seek after alcohol? Why do I have this addictive behaviors?
Yeah.
Why do I do certain things? And they're going to start digging. Miss Deborah. Hey, Deborah Montgomery, how are you? She said facts. Facts. What happens in the dark will come to light. It's better to address your issues now when you can do it as a family unit than for them to be blasted. Because some families are meant to be out in the world for the world to see them so that they can help others. If God called you to be that, you're going to help people one way or the other. Reluctantly, or what's the other word what's the opposite word for reluctant? Or willingly or reluctantly. Either way, you're gonna be a living epistle.
I'm laughing because I'm sorry for those of you that are watching. I'm laughing because she just woke me up. So words like reluctantly, they haven't really computed all the way in my mindset yet. So let alone don't ask the opposite of a word that hasn't even computed in my mind yet. That's why I started laughing. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so
all right, we're good. Let's go.
Right, for those of y'all who are listening and can't see me, I had a whole look on my face. But anywho, I want people to understand, and we're throwing these topics out. Incest, we talked about that. Fathers, brothers, cousins. Yeah. We're not even having family reunions, so cousins don't know that they're cousins.
Right, man.
Sisters don't know that they're sisters.
Oh, sisters and brothers,
and brothers don't know that those are their sisters or their immediate family members. Yeah. And now you're having a whole, you're having children that now have mental issues because the bloodline's too close.
The bloodline's too close, right.
Or they're having physical issues because the bloodline is too close.
Yeah.
Come on, y'all. Come on. Yeah. These secrets got to be out. You don't want to deal with certain family members, but again, you are as strong as your weakest link. And they need to come in love.
Absolutely.
So we got adoptions. Like, people don't even know that they're adopted until something happens, and then the truth has to come out.
Right.
That's not the time to tell somebody. That's not okay.
Yeah.
They should have already known. Well, that would have hurt them. Well, you think it don't hurt now?
Right.
That knowing that all this time that was a lie?
And it's probably, I'm about to say it's probably worse, because I've seen cases where, they're almost like 30 years down the line, and they're grown and they're doing their own thing, and then just happen to hear almost from hearsay that that's just not really your mom, or that's not those are not really your parents. And so now they're like, okay, wait a minute, what the heck? And why did this, so a whole lot of questions coming up. Why did they let me go? Why did they leave me?
Right. Now you got abandonment issues popping up.
Yeah.
Because now you feel you have all of these things like, look, all I can say is there is nothing good about a secret. There's nothing good about a secret that harms people.
Right.
You're trying to keep it a secret so that you can keep up with the Joneses, or you can look like you got it all together. I am sorry, but there is not one of us on the face of this earth that has it all together. If you got millions and billions of dollars, you still ain't got it all together. There is something that you struggle with.
Yes.
Don't keep being fake and phony. That fake it to make it mentality, that is a lie from the pit. We don't need to do that no more. Right. Fake it till I make it. I ain't faking it, because honestly, you're not going to make it if you keep faking it. You're going to have a shaky foundation. So when you get to somewhere that you got to get to, then here comes your character that was never worked on, and you got to be worked on in the midst of being on a pedestal.
reality will always catch up eventually.
And if you too high of a pedestal, guess who gets to air out what is going on? Ayana. Ayana comes in to fix you in front of everybody. You curled up, boo-hooing on Ayana. And ain't nothing wrong with Ayana. Ayana's dope.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Ayana is needed because you got somewhere and your character couldn't keep you there.
Right, now you can't control yourself.
Now you are being exposed. Mm-hmm. You're going to get exposed one way or the other.
Correct.
Deal with it at home. I tell my kids, I need to deal with you within these four walls before you go out to that world, because that world's going to embarrass you. I think I'd rather be embarrassed at home than be embarrassed in these streets.
It's been proven. I think for those of us that have been fortunate enough to have, even in a one-parent home, but one that was strict enough to raise us, within the four walls of the house and tell us, like, look, hey, man, y'all need to chill out because this world ain't no joke. Once y'all get out here, it's going to be a whole another world, for you. Yeah. And, because, I've seen the results of those that have been taught in the home and those that haven't, man. Yeah. And it's just, it's like crazy to see what.
Justin.
Justin.
You know
what? All right.
Okay, look. And let me tell you, and I'm glad you said that, Justin. Justin said she couldn't fix DMX. Look. I remember in my 20s, I was backstage at a concert, and it was DMX, Redman, Method Man, and Jay-Z was debuting Ja Rule, and TLC was on stage. They were opening for Bobby Brown, right? I'm telling you, there was a whole lot of people at this concert, right? Yeah. And I'm backstage trying to get my signatures and stuff, be like, oh my God, take a picture, but DMX couldn't come out.
They had pictures back then. I'm sorry. Okay. So you saying you was getting autographs, right? Okay. Go ahead. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to cut you off. Go ahead.
Autographs. I had an autograph book.
I'm sorry. Okay.
But my friend was a photographer. She had a camera with her. Okay. So that was like the original selfie.
Hey, and I'm not hating because you did get to go. I didn't get to go, so go ahead.
Anyway, DMX couldn't come out. He was so wasted. He was so drunk. He's battling alcoholism way back then. So, and when your gift takes you to a place that your character can't hang, it may be too late. And then all that was stored up inside of you, where you could not reach the maximum potential of what you were meant to reach, it gets tainted because now you have this struggle bus within inside of you that should have been dealt with at a lower level, but the stressors that come with as you elevate, if you weren't fixed in a lower level, trying to get yourself together before you came out to the masses, whatever's in there is gonna come out. Whatever's in there is going to happen. And it may not be no fault of your own. It may be what was not dealt with in your history, in your family history. It starts at home, y'all. The family came before the church. So if family came before the church and God decided to make family first, then clearly there is some structure there that needed to have happened so that all the weight wouldn't be on the church. Y'all blame a lot and y'all got a whole lot of fingers pointing at the church, but there's 3 more pointing right back at you. You have got to take form and responsibility for what is happening in your now. Rapes. I'm going to keep moving on. Rapes. Yeah. Do you know how hurtful it is and being victimized over and over again when the same individual that rapes you show up at the family reunion? When the same individual that rapes you, you got to go to church because he is the one that raped you. Just saying, I ain't talking about what I heard. I'm only talking about what I know. the same individuals that is mistreating you are the same individuals that you have to show up with. Because I'm telling you, a lot of pastors' wives and a lot of moms and a lot of dads hide bruises every day. They may not be physical bruises. They can be emotional bruises. Because I'm sorry, words do hurt.
Absolutely.
And if I'm getting abused all day, every day, and I'm hiding bruises going to church because everybody who you have, he's on a pedestal, but he's hurting me, and I can't say nothing to nobody because ain't nobody gonna believe Deacon such and such is hurting me. Mm-hmm. Pastor such and such is hurting me.
Right. Or
Pastor such and such is whispering in my ear, bless your loins.
Bless your loins.
Hey.
No. I'm trust me, I'm with you.
Sorry, we need to.
Yeah.
We need to put some light on these subjects.
Absolutely.
Because they're getting to, that's victimizing all over again. Mm-hmm. Who are we able to tell? Mm-hmm. Who are the people able to say this is hurting me without being judged? How can I come to you and say, I'm struggling with pornography? Mm-hmm. I'm struggling with, alcoholism. Mm-hmm. I don't want to be this person, whatever this person is.
Right.
Who do I come to that I can just be able to be not judged, but still be able to come get a plate at the family meetings, at the family dinner, and somebody be like, there they go again. Mm-hmm. Who shuts her up? Just saying. Who shuts up Negative Nancy, Debbie Downer, and says, we're going to speak love and light in this family? Mm-hmm. We need the family meetings to come back. Real talk. Mm. Family meetings need to come back.
Yes.
Family reunions need to come back. They far few and in between. Mm-hmm. Honey, we don't even, where's the family reunion where you showing the family tree, and the adding of the people. Mm-hmm. And instead of you waiting on government assistance,
right,
there should be a family pool. Mm-hmm. Y'all pull together when y'all need to bury somebody.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if then.
Mm-hmm. The hat gets passed. You got such and such, come to the table. Mm-hmm. How much money you got? How much money you got? How much money you got?
Mm-hmm. Right.
There could be somebody who has gift of finances that can do the family's budgets. Mm-hmm. These are things that I'm just thinking of off the fly that can be utilized within the family unit. If there's somebody who's dope at marketing, pour into that person. Absolutely. Say, these are the things that I need done. Can you help me as I help you with some of the things that you need help with? Mm-hmm. Bartering services. Mm-hmm. Yeah, let's try that. We've got to heal. There's too much individual. There's too much everybody trying to just do their own thing, or the crab mentality. If somebody's making it, you trying to hold on and pull them down because you didn't make it.
Right. Or you didn't get there first. Basically.
Right. If the water is rising, I learned this off Facebook. If the water is rising, all the ships are going to rise.
Yep.
It's not just one that rises. All of them are going to rise. Be happy for the person that's rising because that means you're next. Mm-hmm. If not, you're doing it in parallel. Yep. Y'all, come on. It's too much hatred. There's too much division. There's too much backbiting. I saw a post the other day. Family members, they want a family union, but too many people are choosing who they want to click up with. There's too many cliques inside because there's nobody mediating. Mm-hmm. Who's calling who saying, hey sis, hey baby, I see you. What's going on? Why you and such and such? Ain't everybody talking about get out of my business? No, somebody needs to be in your business because you're not handling business very well. You're causing division. Mm-hmm. I'll come back. But you're causing division because your mindset is divided. And you have no round circle to hold on to. Mm-hmm. You done closed in and closed in and closed in and separated so much. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I'm going to get off y'all heads on that one. Let's go to the next one.
Yeah, but accountability has to be held though within that family. Since we're talking family, you know, and that there has to be someone in that, you know, and it was usually it was always. I mean, because you mentioned grandmas earlier, you know, what you used to call meemaw.
Meemaw.
Yeah, meemaw. Yeah.
Meemaw. Like the meemaw.
That would, you know, that would not judge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and they would hear both sides, and if there was, you know, like say if there was a conflict, they would hear both sides and would let you know, and would not play favorites.
Yeah.
And I think that's, you know, as you mentioned, that's one of the problems. I mean, we there. First of all, like you said, there's too many cliques inside the main unit, and you know, and everybody's scared to approach one another because, you know, for it not to be, you know, it's not the other person's business, or you know, who are you to come to me?
Yeah.
Asking me what's my problem and you got problems, you know. No, let's bring it to the table. Let's talk about what needs to be fixed.
Exactly.
And you know, and then everybody's quick to judge on top of that.
Yeah. And there's no respect.
There's no respect. Yeah.
There's no respect. Reverence.
Mm-hmm.
Not just respect, but reverence to your elders.
Yeah, exactly.
Black people, hey, we have, I don't know where we got off.
Yeah.
I don't know where we got off track. Mm-hmm. I don't.
Yeah.
But there's no respect for the elders, and their wisdom's needed.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Now, there's some elders that just don't have the wisdom God gave a cat, but find one that does. It's in the family. Everybody ain't Riri. Mm-hmm. Everybody, you know, if God can use a donkey, there's something inside that, you know.
Say, it's funny you mentioned Riri, because sometimes Riri's the one that's going to have the wisdom, but because we look down on Riri because she's Riri,
right? Because Riri's drinking.
Whatever Riri is doing, you know, we don't want to listen.
Yeah,
because, you know, we think that she's not going to bring anything to the table.
Yeah, because I know. Hey, Vernice.
What's up, niece? Love you, girl.
I love you. Thank you for tuning in.
Yeah. So there's while we're looking back, you know, while we're searching the ancestry, you know, .coms and everything, trying to figure out, you know, how far we go back. And you know, I think it's just as important, if not even more important, that we look back and see what made this family last.
Yes.
You know,
what kept us together.
What kept this family together.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, more than just, you know, having sex, planting seed, and all the scientific stuff. I mean, but what made what was the morals? What was the foundation? Mm-hmm. You know, and the practices that made that family last, and then go back to those. Yeah.
For the first time in 40 plus years, my family played kickball yesterday.
Wow.
First time.
Wow.
First time. We used to have volleyball tournaments. We used to bring the street that we lived on. We used to bring all of those families together because we had football we had football, we had volleyball, we had kickball tournaments in the backyard, and people would come with their fold up chairs and sit out and enjoy our festivities. We would play baseball. We would do all of those things. And because there was dissension in our family, we all broke apart and went our separate ways. Through the healing that I have been going through, because I said enough was enough, it took one person to be healed for us to come back together again. I said, put all that down. I'm sorry. You don't even have to apologize. I'm going to apologize. And I didn't even have to do the wrong. I said sorry.
Right.
For whatever I did. But I was intentional and specific on the certain things that I know that situation took. Come back home. Y'all, what we about to do, this is the date. We getting together. You don't have to worry about putting nothing in. If you want to, that's great. Bring a dish. But we about to have kickball. We about to act up, act a monkey. Nobody judging nobody. Let's just have fun. Mm-hmm. And, you know, I think and going back to Auntie Riri, so what, she read the Bible when she get drunk or high? That's when her religion come out. A lot of truth comes out when somebody starts drinking.
Tell me about it. Come on now.
Truth come out.
Come on now.
And if that's her truth, let her read that Bible and tell you about it, and y'all talk it over and move on, because I'm telling you, going to be some nuggets in that, because that's when she feels the most comfortable. She done got over her issues of people, how they gonna feel about her and about her past. And that's the time when she feels the most close to God, that she can actually speak a word, is when she is intoxicated. Let God work that out in her. Your job is to love Auntie Riri. That's your job. It all comes down to love. Yeah. And showing love and loving in a functional sense, not a dysfunctional sense. Get into some training on how to love and how to love you first. Then you can spread it throughout your family, because they're going to look at you and be like, what she done got a hold of? Gandhi's book? It don't matter what I got a hold of. Just know that I got a hold of it and we're spreading it. Right. And that's what matters. The past is the past. We're going to work on our now. Right. And as we heal and love each other, we'll hash the past if the past needs to be hashed. Yeah. But we're going to focus on our now. And focus on the fact that without each other,
it's going to crumble.
It's going to crumble. Yeah. And somebody said, that's it. The antidote is love to everything. Oh, Vernice. Yes. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. The answer to it all is love. And if you're not loving your family member, you're not loving yourself, because they're a part of you. They're a part of your DNA. And that's self-hate. And I don't want that. I don't want that any part of my life. Women, get a hold of a women's group near you. If you don't have one, log on to Women of Intent, become a member, answer the questions, and start getting fed daily. If you have, there's plenty of women's groups. Children, you got kids that need attention, go to Baya, the Baya Center. She has so much for children, teenagers, young kids, so that they can help. Women of Intent is partnered with Goodwill. Goodwill's even trying to help y'all. Goodwill is partnering with people in the community that is doing the work. But you also need to do the work. Baya Center, beautiful as you are. Beautiful as you are. I'm sorry. I got real country.
Say it again, girl. Aura. Say it again.
Beautiful as you are. That's what it stands for. BAYA. Baya. Get part of these Facebook communities that are attempting to do the work, and they're meeting you halfway. So meet them halfway, because people are coming out of the church. They're getting into the communities, becoming the church, becoming what God is requiring them to be, which is a light. Okay. They're offering you Christ without offering you Christ. For those of you who have an issue with church or do whatever, you still getting the same principles without the Bible being shoved down your throat. But you're getting a principle in love. Okay? That's all this is love. And Goodwill Industries, if you're in Louisville, on Broadway, 909 East Broadway, they have Women of Intent. It's 6 p.m. on Thursdays. It's 10 o'clock in the morning on Saturdays. Then you got one session today. Today's Thursday. You got a session at 6 p.m. Get to Goodwill on Broadway, 909 East Broadway in Louisville. You got the Boys and Girls Club. That's pretty much almost anywhere in the country. You got the Boys and Girls Club. If you got Medicaid, you can schedule a time to be picked up because they'll get you to certain appointments. That's an appointment for your child's health.
Yeah.
Okay. So speaking of which I'm going into right now, is single parenthood. A lot of us are single parents. That somewhere in your lineage, something happened to where you ended up having to raise your children by yourself. Someone did it before you. Now you're doing it. You need help. It takes a village. Trying to do this on your own. I love the fact that people used to, send me Father's Day wishes or whatever. I love a post that I saw Vernice put up. I'm not a father. I'm not even going to attempt to take that place. Mm-hmm. I don't know how to raise a man like a man does. Mm-hmm. I just know how to do it from my perspective of me watching other men and me implementing those things into my sons. I don't want to be no dude. I am going to raise you from a mother's perspective, but men are needed. And if you don't have a man in your immediate space, that is a family member, because it's going to take work. It's going to take work for men to come together to help your families. You can't just stay in your own little corner, in your own little world, and not assist other women in your families who are trying to do it alone.
Right.
Those young boys need to see other men that look like them doing it, making an effort. So what? Their fathers aren't in the picture. They have other men around them and other aunties, uncles, whatever around them. And if you don't have immediate family members, adopt some. There's plenty of people that are wanting to be able to help, from the Boys and Girls Club to Women of Intent to Baya to other. I wish I remembered the name. My friend Crystal here in Indianapolis, her husband and her are doing amazing things with kids. Yeah. They're doing amazing things with kids. She got a whole system that's been going for years. And other places, wherever I'm broadcasting, to find it in your area, find it in your city. There's answers. You ain't got to do this by yourself. You don't have to do it alone.
Yeah. I'm about to say we use Google for everything else.
Yeah.
Google organization, positive organizations that will help African American men, African American women, African American children. I mean, and there's tons of them out there nationwide. Yeah. That are willing to help out.
I have a question for y'all. Can I?
Yes. Your phone?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
This is my phone. If something happens to my phone, I immediately get it fixed, right? Because I need it. There is purpose to this thing, right? If I put this over a value of my family, if I'm willing to take this phone and to get the screen fixed because the screen is cracked and I can no longer utilize it, why are you not doing that for your family? Why does this have more of an effect on your life than your own flesh and blood? If this gets broken, you have a whole cow. If this gets lost, you have a whole reaction emotionally.
One of the reasons why is because that's a quick fix.
Minimal effort. Are we lazy?
Well, I don't think it's the fact that we're lazy as much as we are. I really don't want to say that we're lazy. I just don't think we want to do hard work. And I guess if lazy falls in that category, then it does.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, if it has feathers
all right,
like a
so
chicken.
I guess speaking as a man, I know
one.
speaking as a man, like if you want me to do something I think it's difficult, that would be my excuse. I was like, well, I mean, it's not that, it's just, I don't have the energy to, but some families don't want to put that kind of energy into,
what they don't feel is valuable.
Don't feel is valuable. And
and be like, and some people like, I don't know, I tried. They ain't trying to. Well, you know what? Try again.
yeah, I mean, some
Give them no
yeah,
excuse.
some nuts are harder to crack than others.
Yeah. But it takes patience. It takes time. God didn't deal with you and one time and done. He didn't walk away from you, be like, you know what, she ain't hear me, bye. And brushed away. It took time. It took process. People are in their individual processes. Have some mercy and some grace.
Yeah.
You're gonna want it. Hi, Maisha. Thank you for watching.
I want to say, I don't even know why this popped in my head, but the greatest buildings that are known throughout the world. I don't even know why I'm going there, but some of the greatest buildings throughout the world are not just known for their exterior and how beautiful they look, and they don't last long just because of how beautiful they are. That's part of it, but the other part of it is, number one, is how deep they had to dig.
Yeah.
The foundation.
In order to hold all the weight.
So, and let's talk about digging. I mean, digging is hard work. And a lot
Back-breaking.
of time, it's backbreaking. It's going to require the sweat off of your brow.
And it's going to require all your muscles.
And it's going to require every muscle that you have. And it's going to be tedious. It takes time. You can't just build a skyscraper overnight.
Yeah.
But it takes a lot of time. But the end result is, that you have this beautiful building, which not only looks beautiful, but is able to endure because of the foundation. Is able to endure when the storms come, when the winds blow.
But it's also able to endure because somebody stayed committed to the end.
Come on, yes, absolutely.
Somebody stayed committed to building that thing
to the end. Yep, absolutely.
And it just wasn't one somebody.
It was a whole team.
It took a whole team, multiple teams to build a building.
Yeah. And sometimes workers butt heads.
Yeah.
Sometimes they didn't agree on everything, but they stayed committed to the task.
Yeah. Because if the foundation isn't right and you bring people in, it has the ability to crumble. They're dealing with a situation right now in Miami.
Yeah.
Don't know why, but a whole 20-something story building decided to collapse on one side. And 50 plus people, one's dead and 50 plus people are missing. Because something happened during the construction. The foundation gave way.
Wow.
And now you got people missing.
Wow.
Can we put that and line that with our families? Somewhere along the foundation, something happened. Now we got people missing.
Right. And it's the same effect. When the when the family building crumbles, it has an effect on not just the family, but it has an effect on people around them, which is the community.
Yeah.
And that's why we have these. Excuse me, you girl. I don't know what you fed me earlier, but girl.
And so, anywho, what scripture comes to mind right now is we're the salt of the earth.
Yes.
We're the salt of the earth. The earth moans and groans, waiting for us to come to fruition. If we aren't being the light inside of our own homes, how in the world do you think you're going to do that in the community? Because I guarantee you a family member is going to come out of the woodwork and be like, glad they're there for you. They wasn't for me.
Oh, man.
It's going to come out.
Yeah.
It's going to come out.
Seen it happen.
Yo, secrets is going to come out.
Right.
Glad they so gung-ho for you.
Right.
But we wrestle with the same things in our family, and that wasn't taken care of there. So next, moving on.
You said next.
Moving on to next topics. Not next topics, but going down in the, because we started yesterday. We was going over this topic, and we just started listing a whole bunch of stuff that we know is in here, and like, okay, so somebody's a homosexual, so somebody's a part of LGBTQ, so you gotta love them. You don't get to shun them. That's not okay. It's not okay. As for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Well, serving the Lord means that you loving everybody.
True.
It starts with you, since you want to throw the scripture out your mouth. Sorry. You got to love them. And they not asking you to participate. I don't think anybody asked you for a threesome. I'm serious.
I know.
Nobody asked you to participate in their foolishness, if you consider it foolishness. Nobody asked you to participate. All they asked for you to do is love them. And I'm sorry, homosexuality is not foolishness. It's just not. I'm not going to get into that topic today, but we are going to address it one day, I promise you. But that's not your place to judge. Your place is to love.
Right.
Love is the antidote. Love is the answer.
Yeah.
Love. It's a 4-letter word.
Yep.
4-letter word. Got a lot of punch behind it, though.
Whole lot of punch.
So, affairs. Don't you think those things should be... Okay, if I have a son struggling... If he's struggling with being faithful, or being, say he gets married or whatever, and he starts having an issue, don't you think he needed to know that there was extramarital affairs somewhere down the lineage line, so that he would know, and they would know, and she would know what to pray for, and say, this may be a part of your, this may be a part of an issue. Don't you think that people who are coming into marrying your family, because you don't just marry the person, you marry the family. I don't care what you say. You can sit there and say, I'm just marrying them. I ain't marrying a family. No, yes, you are.
Right.
Because if you got kids, or if you're just in a relationship with that person, you're married to the lineage, and whatever is in that lineage, you got to deal with.
Right.
So now you married it. Don't you think you need to know what you're up against? Well, in prayer, so that you can bring it to, so that you can bring it to God and say, hey, I don't know if it's been addressed or not in their family. I have no clue, but I know what I need help with, because this is not me wrestling against flesh and blood, but it is me dealing with principalities and spiritual things that I need to focus on, so that this doesn't attempt to attack my marriage. Certain cycles got to stop. Certain cycles got to, some things will hit a brick wall when it comes to prayer, and you'll say to that mountain, be ye removed.
Absolutely.
But if you didn't know the mountain was there, because you didn't ask enough questions when you marrying into a family, could have stopped you from a whole lot of heartache.
Yeah.
Anywho, move to the next. Unless you had something.
No, I was about to say, and then
go ahead.
Okay, but hold on to that because I know it's something. But the other side of that is that, even when you do pray for that, it's good to know what you're getting into, so that if certain issues do come, like if you, especially for us that are spiritual Christians, what have you, if you pray for it and say God allows it to happen anyway, it's not catching you by surprise. Okay, like, oh my God, why are they acting this way, or why did this, I never would believe it would have went down like this. Well, I mean, you never would have believed it because you never knew it, and you never knew it because you never did any research on that family lineage.
Yeah.
So if for nothing else, that needs to be researched, just so that it won't catch you off guard, and you will know how to combat it. When it comes. As well as praying for it, because yes, praying is definitely the utmost thing. Especially we as Christians or anybody that's spiritual rely on to get those things answered, to get those curses broken. That's where.
Oh no, you're good. Yeah, and I like that.
I had another thought, but it just slipped.
Okay, so
what's up?
What about when Uncle Rob is a cross dresser? Uncle Rob, Uncle John, they kind of hide it way back in the day because they couldn't be open and honest because certain things about them, they knew that the certain image would not be accepted. So now you got them cross-dressing behind closed doors, or they're because they're having to hide, it's causing them to commit suicide. Now you got suicide in your lineage that's not been dealt with because nobody wanted to deal with the things that was bothering that person mentally. You got, self-hate. They'll start doing self-mutilation where they start cutting themselves. Let's talk about the spirit of cutter. Because there's a lot of people that cut in secret. If you notice your family member wearing long sleeves and it's 90 degrees outside, I don't know.
Yeah, I want to look into that.
And they talking about they anemic. No, you not. You hiding. Who can you talk to that you trust? There's family therapies that can happen. There's therapists that do family therapies via FaceTime. Telehealth.
Yep.
These people need help. Don't try and keep it a secret. Say, let me help you, please. I won't judge you, but please just let me help because something is hurting you. You may not even have the words to be able to be audible about it, but let's get some therapy so where you can create the words.
Yes.
Everything that happens to a person emotionally does not always come out audibly. People.
Right. And that's very important because I was talking to a friend yesterday, and we was talking about this, and because if that doesn't happen, it will destroy you. It will take you out of here,
all the way out.
We hear about people dying because they got shot. We hear people dying from car accidents. People dying from, diseases or whatever. But we never hear about people dying from stress or from trauma.
Yeah.
Because of something that happened in their past and that they just held on to, and they just bottled it in, and they were too afraid to let it out. It's really important that you like she said, seek therapy or find someone confidential that will, ask the questions and will allow you to release those words or those emotions out. Because, like I said, when you keep it in, it's not going to end well at all.
It's not.
No.
And that's where I said, y'all, a matriarch and a patriarch needs to be established in the family. Needs to be established in the family. Because who is going to mediate? Who is going to discuss? Who is going to be considered, the authoritative? Nobody said that they have reign to tell you what you are and aren't going to do, but be respectful.
Yes, absolutely.
Respect everybody. Respect each other. And so this is where I want everybody to understand that the secrets have got to cease. There are so many secrets that are hurting one another. You're hurting each other. You're hurting generations. And the family secrets, the what happens in this house stays in this house. Y'all, I'm sorry. If you're going to keep it in the house, you need to deal with it in the house then. Mm-hmm. If you're going to keep that secret in the house, you need to deal with it in the house with therapy, with correction, with shining a light on it so that people are so that your children's children are aware and they know their family history.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because there's nothing worse than not knowing where you come from, good or bad.
Right.
Everybody wants the good. I did Ancestry.com and my such and such was kings and queens. That's great. Mm-hmm. But you need the good and the bad so that you can have everything in front of you and know how to go forward.
Yeah.
You can't just keep wanting the good. Then you're not dealing with reality. Mm-hmm. And that's a lot of people faking it till they make it and not dealing with reality.
Absolutely.
Okay. Next. Because I think...
yeah.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just so much
stuff. There's so much things. Like, some people not realizing that they're not even that person's biological son. Mm-hmm. Biological daughter. We talked about that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't have to be with adoption. Mm-hmm. It could just be period. Mm-hmm. You know how many people are duped into believing that this is their child and it's not? There's nothing wrong with swallowing your pride and saying that you didn't know. Mm-hmm. But this is a situation. There is a whole lot of things that need to be addressed that are not being addressed, being swept under the rug, and people are hurting. We talked about family structure. The next thing is balance. Mm-hmm. Work balance, social life balance, Facebook balance,
church
balance. Stop making your kids hate church. Stop making your husband hate that you go to church, because all you do is church. You so heavenly minded, you ain't no earthly good. There's a balance, people.
Yeah.
There's a balance. 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 Family came before the church. And if you cannot see that it's you and him and God in the relationship, and if you're single, it's you and your kids in a relationship with God, not pastor.
Right.
Pastor's a man. Get him off the pedestal. Knock pastor off the pedestal. You want me to do it again? Knock pastor off the... Stop putting him up there so high.
Yeah.
He puts his pants legs on left and right, just like you. You got a responsibility to your household. If your kids is missing you because you working 40 plus hours a day, if you working too hard, clearly you ain't trusting God to make a way. Mm-hmm. And if God ain't in the picture for you, okay, you out for your grind, your paper, you doing whatever. If you put your kids in front of that becomes your God and your idol, and now your kids is hating you because, yeah, you got your career. Yeah, you went for your doctorates. That's great. Mm-hmm. But who did you step on in the process? Mm-hmm. Just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying. Because now you got kids hating your life because it took precedence over them. Mm-hmm. Just saying. I'm just saying. It's balance.
Yeah.
Sorry, I went off. It's balance.
No, I mean, but it needs definitely need to be addressed, and you know, it'll definitely grab, as you always do, grabs people's attention. You know, because there's a lot of kids that grow up, you know, being traumatized because of the fact that mom and dad never spent time at home with them. You know, and mom and dad, you know, they always, you know, they don't see the they see it only from one standpoint. Their standpoint is to provide for their children.
Yeah.
I worked 4 and 5 jobs to put food on your plate and clothes on your back, which is commendable. Okay, but the kids want more than the food and the clothes.
They want you.
They want you. They want you to play cards with them. They want you. I know I'm going old school. They want you to
play Jenga.
Play Jenga.
Monopoly.
Yeah, right. Or they want you to just read a book to them. They want you to read
color.
in a bedtime story. Help them color. Yeah, help them put together a puzzle.
Jump rope.
I mean, the quality time with children is very, very vital, because as they grow older, and then when they grow older, that'll give them a desire to work with their next generation.
Exactly.
Whether in or out of the house.
Exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, y'all, I'm not telling you what I, heard. I'm telling you, I have done it, which is why I'm saying to you, they desire your time.
Me too.
Because my kids, we have a round table discussion. I'm like, how y'all feeling? And they honestly said it one day. We're upset. We're jealous of XYZ because you all of your time is there and you're not spending time with us. Mm-hmm. I mean, the shoes are great. Thanks for the Jordans, Mom. But we rather have had you. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, okay. Make some adjustments. Look, we got 7 kids. It's not easy.
Right.
But realizing that each one of them are individuals, and each one of them may have different ways that they have a love language. So you gotta have time spent with them. Yes. And if you're not learning that from a matriarch or a patriarch, that's why family is important. Because I'm telling you right now, family will take some of that load. Okay?
Yes.
So,
yes.
And it also help, it'll also help with homelessness. We don't have a culture that says if something happens, come back home. Maybe because you too unruly. Maybe because you got this, that, and the other, and you are not humbled. But whatever it is that keeps you away from your family, you paying a price for it. I don't know who I'm speaking to. You paying the price for your rebellion. If you humbled yourself and came under some ruling so that you and your kids wouldn't be living in the shelter, maybe you would not be homeless and they wouldn't be going through that moment that they're going through. All because you had beef with such and such and you can't see eye to eye. If you take your wood out of the fire, it lessens the flame. Wood represents flesh in the Bible. Take your wood out the fire, it lessens the flame. If you remove selfish behaviors, you'll have a lot more peace.
Yes.
I'm not saying that everything that I'm saying is cookie cutter, because there are some situations.
Yeah, absolutely.
But there's resolutions that can be had. There is. You just have to be creative and figure it out. God will show you the way. But that's the thing of being called by his name. Certain things that we go through as a people are meant to help others. Some things that you're going through is not even got nothing to do with you. Some of your family issues that y'all are going through has absolutely nothing to do with y'all. It's because y'all meant to help somebody else because y'all have leadership abilities. Right. Come on, y'all. You got to look at this from a different angle. Anywho. I think I know that we didn't touch on discipline versus abuse. Because we will knock the mess out of our kids as a culture.
Yeah.
I done heard some horror stories with racetracks and brooms. Extension cords. Y'all.
Hot water tubes. Hot water. Oh man, the hot water.
Spatulas.
Spatulas.
Skillets. Tables. Bikes.
The tables. Though.
Hey. Look.
Oh man.
Either way, order needs to be had. Okay. Discipline
better,
versus abuse.
It made us better. It got
because you spare the rod, you spoil the child. You know what you talked about yesterday? Mm-hmm. Sparing the rod, spoiling the child. Look, from a shepherd's perspective, they use that rod to create order. Mm-hmm. Tell the sheep can't go no farther. Pull the sheep back with the hook. Mm-hmm. The rod is a representation of keeping discipline. Not necessarily meaning that you beating that sheep.
Oh man!
You don't necessarily have to beat the sheep with the rod, but you do need the rod for correction.
But yeah, I mean, not necessarily beat because beating can be taken and is often, especially in this society, mm-hmm. is often taken to the extreme. Yeah. When we think about beating, we're always thinking about abuse, leaving a mark, drawing blood, whatever, what have you.
Smacking you in the next week.
Right, smacking you next week, putting you through a wall. It was, the rod was used, more so to get, the sheep's attention. Like, oh, wait a minute, you're going the wrong way. We need to stay over here. Mm-hmm. We need to stay over here. And such is the same with us as parents. When we use the rod, whatever that rod is, it was used, and it. We felt it. Mm-hmm. Don't think we didn't feel it.
You need that sometimes.
Yeah, but it got our attention.
Yeah. And that's what is key.
It got our attention to make us realize, okay, maybe we don't need to do that again.
Yeah.
So
all I can say is, because we're going to use that for another podcast, is discipline versus abuse, because I know a lot of that came from our history from slavery and being disciplined in public, so that it was a show of correction and keeping somebody in line and all that stuff. We're going to address that another topic, but today was family secrets, y'all. I hope y'all got something out of this podcast. I hope you understood from a topical discussion on family secrets, creating that matriarch, creating that patriarch in the family, so that it can it can cause some order. There's order that needs to be had. There's order that needs to be made in the family. So there's a structure, and so that we can move forward. And y'all, out of all of this, I pray that you got to do it in love.
Absolutely.
Y'all, I know a lot of people's definition of love is different, but love is love. Okay? Doing it in love and being able to address each other in love is key. Yep. I hope y'all enjoyed today's podcast. Yeah. We enjoy bringing it to y'all.
Absolutely.
And we just want to tell you, look out for the next show in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. We're going to have Justin Yates on from Think Tank, THINK, Tank, TANK. Log on to Think Tank from Facebook. Get involved in the conversation, and we'll bring you the topic of discussion in 2 weeks.
Good deal.
I love you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for tuning in. You have just listened to today's installment of What Would It Take, hosted by Summer Logan. What Would It Take is a group of individuals that strongly believes in the necessity of conversation for the building of the minority community. To stay connected of our upcoming events and podcasts, please visit and like our Facebook page and at What Would It Take. Until the next time, my name is Joe Logan. On behalf of our host,
Summer Logan,
we wish you a very, very good day. God bless you.
Love you guys.
See
you in 2 weeks.
Bye-bye. Thank you.
Good job.